You might have heard that yesterday was a big, huge, historic, unprecedented day at the Supreme Court, and I was there in the courtroom, so let me tell you all about it. To set the scene, the Supreme Court was set to hear arguments in Trump's bid to limit birthright citizenship, which is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment and several statutes. The fact that the Supreme Court was even hearing this case was a huge deal, because if you undermine those citizenship rights under the 14th Amendment, then what other rights do you have under the Constitution? And if this huge consequential case was not enough for you, the night before the arguments in this case, President Trump said that he would be attending oral arguments, making him the first president to ever do so. And while you might have heard online that there was some magical special chair for presidents to attend oral arguments, that's really not the case. He sat in the public section and he heard oral arguments just like anyone else. The court didn't recognize him. They didn't even really acknowledge that he was there. And while he left halfway through, I don't really think there's anything to that. The arguments lasted over 2 hours. He was there for over an hour. He heard his Solicitor General argue his side of the case. And, after over an hour, he left. There was little fanfare about it. Obviously, everyone noticed he left because he's the president, but it wasn't that big of a deal that he left. I wouldn't put too much weight on that. But I will say the arguments did not go well for Trump. So something key to Trump's argument was that the 14th Amendment was a solution to Dred Scott, and that it didn't really apply to all people. It only applied to the children of certain immigrants that could show allegiance through their domicile in the U.S., their lawful permanent residence, if you will. The idea here from the Solicitor General was that there's always been these exceptions for who is subject to the jurisdiction of the Constitution and the nation's laws, and that immigration is now one of those exceptions because immigration wasn't an issue in 1868, so this can just be looped in with other exceptions, such as those for children of diplomats, invading enemy armies, and the native tribes. But you can see from what Robert said right here that while these are new problems, we're still living under the same Constitution that has guaranteed citizenship rights for anyone who was born on U.S. soil for over a century. Justice Samuel Alito was the only one who showed any real interest in Trump's arguments, and even he started to waver at some point, so we really could see a 9-0 ruling in this case. More likely 8-1, but we shall see. But it's a huge deal that the Supreme Court even heard this case. The citizenship clause has been